Okay. Here we go, with a Death Division game in the Necropolis Grail Cup. You see here Cong4ever in the red, starting with Hans for graveyards and Cooper as Persians. So it seems that Cooper wants to make use of the Persians' bonuses here. They have faster working docks and docks with more HP, so he likely wants to go for the pawns at some point, but his map gen, unfortunately, extremely unfortunate for him here, as all 3 pawns are ridiculously close to Kong here. So this is already very, very good news for Kong. He has a very nice little back gold here. It could be hard to spot next to the building ruins here, but he has a back gold. He has a back stone, he has the pawns right next to him, and then his main gold on the hill here. That should actually be easily denied by Archer Fire or a tower, but still quite close to the TC, not overall too bad. So Kong scouting a little bit sheep. Note that the tournament is played on fast speed, so that makes things even a little bit more settling. We saw Kong chopping the straggler in the start here, so his Ghost Hunt start with even a little bit less wood, and now he's taking the sheep here. Cooper, on the other hand, being Persians, he does start with a little bit extra resources, so he has less of a stress to get villager production going. Players are similar here, they haven't had any idle time at all, I believe. So, but I'm curious to see how this plays out. Wouldn't be unlikely to see scouts openings from both. Considering they have cavalry saves with good cavalry, but Hans could of course go for a drush as well. Kong already with 4 wood could actually suggest that a drush into something is in his mind here. And he should have a fantastic fruit income as Hans with these pawns close to him here. Let's just do a little bit of fast forwarding to catch up with some potential feudal action here. I think Cooper, yeah, these were his sheep, but Kong is actually missing 4 of his sheep, but I think he scouted them, so he should be okay. But they are definitely in danger of being lamed over here. Let's see, Kong's side, here we go. Yeah, Kong knows where they are, so he's going to pick up the sheep now. Meanwhile, he's bringing in war and he doesn't even stressed about getting the sheep at all, not worried about lames here. So let's try and get to the feudal action here. Kong going heavily to wood here. It already has a dock app as well, so he wants to get the fish boom going. He could be having a fast castle in mind here. Cooper actually almost snags a sheep here, but he makes it. Alright. Population pretty close, but Kong with the fish boom going for him is already taking a little lead here, boosting his food economy. So both players not really stressing getting to the Dark Age here. Cooper deciding to go with Dark Age as well, but he opts for a drush here as Persians. Looks like he would be able to get 1 villager from Kong here, at least almost. Is blocking. Look at this, nice moves here. But Kong is chasing his 3rd militia, and also Wolf is chasing him, but Cooper saves full HP on. He actually has 4 militias. Doable with Persians, considering their extra starting resources, but here Kong walks towards his TC, doesn't want to let Cooper's drush get close to his food and wood sources here. Even walling the other side as well, just there's not an option for Cooper to get in here. And Cooper with limited scouting intel hopes to see something in the back here or find a way around, but I think this wood line is full here. So nice, easily wall-offed map for Kong here. Militia could break through this palisade though if Kong isn't paying attention, but it's just going to take them too long. Both players up to the feudal age, but Kong with a whooping 29 population here. That's 7 fishing ship working for him. He has quite a few on food, but with Hans you never need to worry about getting housed, so you can just spam out fishing ships forever here and make use of the deep fish that is here. Kong, impressively enough, is even first to the feudal age. He knows his opponent went for drush fast cattle, and here he goes to stable, wants to get some scouts out now, and that shouldn't be an issue at all with this fish eco going for him. He could produce quite a few scouts and still be able to get to Castle Age in a nice time here. Meanwhile, at Cooper's side, it's gone to gold. Obviously, he's done the drush. He wants to opt for the fast castle bit. He's walling off as well. So forcing Kong to enter at this point. The other side as well being walled here. Does Cooper see that this... He could be thinking that this woodland is open, but I think he'll spot it in time. Even in any case, Kong scouts will need to either run through here or over here, so it's forcing the long way around for Kong after all. But there will be scouts from Kong. There are out of the field already. Maybe Kong goes straight forward, not dealing with the rush at home. Think so. 2 scouts, 3 scouts total, considering Kong's starting scouts as well. Military 5 for Cooper, 3 for Kong. Cooper just being annoying and forcing some extra palisades behind here, but I don't think Kong minds that too much here. So palisades and house walling here. Needs to finish the corner here though, just to make sure that the scouts don't get in and palisades. Scary as well. If Kong sends a villager forward, you could straggler hop through the palisade there, just chop it down and place a palisade of his own. But Kong chooses to clean out the drush first. He is opting for quite a few scouts, which is easy with the fish eco he has going for him. He could even consider going for the upgrades here. He of course only has the stable now. It's very cramped inside his base, but he could just delete walls and move on later. So expand later, shouldn't be an issue. So fish is running out there. He's taking the shore fish though. It's still 2 for 600 food here. Now docking the second bond there. Kong's fish food eco is just going to spike up like crazy here. Cooper meanwhile has had time to wall here, but unfortunately for him, he still hasn't scouted that this side is open. Quick walls always an option. He has the woodland here. Good quick wall here with a palisade should be enough here actually, but Cooper quite low. It opts to stay few ledges, doing a double range. My initial thought was that he was going for the fast castle here, and I think that would be the better play considering Kong is going for the massive scouts here, but I'm sure he has some reasoning behind it. Kong is walled, Kong is very cramped at home, so the archers could reach both fishing ships and wood eco here if he goes forward. Kong actually hasn't scouted his enemy, so that's bad news for him. He thinks Cooper might be over here, but is in fact Cooper is in fact here. So we might be looking at a prolonged feud here, but looking at pops here, Kong with slightly less military, but decent mass of scouts here. If they get in, that's going to be really bad news for Cooper, and a score lead as well. Now some archers going forward. Kong actually hasn't scouted this yet, so he doesn't know that Cooper is going for the Persian archers here. But here come the scouts, and there is an opening here, so I hope Cooper is paying attention to his minimap. Let's see here. Should know as well. No, actually he didn't scout the stable, but I mean you would expect that from the Huns anyway. But here comes Kong. This could be devastating for Cooper here. Scouts are in. Not in time for quick walls here. This just could be the GG right here. Just looking from the numbers of scouts here roaming around, they could get so many kills here. Cooper pulls back, but he loses already. He's just lost 3, 4, 5 villagers. Look at the dead bodies here. Could be looking at an early GG here, but he does have army forward. I think he feels forced to pull them back, but the whole ends the game for Cooper here and brings it to 1-0 for Kong. Too bad for Cooper, but this map gen so much in favor of Kong, even though Kong would have to migrate to get the gold later on. He had his main gold secured even with the tower here because Cooper was sending archers and the back gold here, but looking at the rest of the golds here, it could favor Cooper later on. But it is 1-0 for Kong getting the scouts in here. It's a total of, I think, 7 or 8 scouts here, 8 military. I guess that's all scouts. So 1-0 for Kong. No. So I'm gonna browse through the stats here. 13 to 1 kills. That says something about how many builders he killed out of Cooper's 37 bill high here. I think a comeback with Persians would not be completely out of the question, considering the TCs and docks work faster, but all the ponds so far away that it's just a disaster for Cooper in this map generation, being Persians not being able to exploit that fishing bonus easily. That could be a weakness with this map, honestly. But looking at the resources, especially the food counter, is just ridiculous. 1,000 more food for Kong already at the 1748 mark. and also a television lead, but I think that's all fishing ships, almost. As 8 fishing, 8, 10, 13 fishing. Cooper actually had 1 villager more. That's the Persian TCs working faster from feudal age onwards. So let's switch screens and move on to the next map here. So for game 2, we'll have Cooper's home map. Here we go. Moving on to Cooper's home map here. Cooper in the blue, playing as Mongols for hideout. So it's not a pick I've seen a lot on hideouts, but why not? You have Hunt, you have the opportunity to get up real fast. And playing against Kong, who is qwerty. qwerty don't need any buildings to click up, so Kong should be able to secure a very early uptime here as well. But it's looking forward to seeing what kind of plans the players has. Looking at the resources here, both players have some neutral resources on their sides. These may, yeah, that's a neutral gold for Cooper here, 3 tile, and some neutral stones to the sides here, and double 3 tile stones. Kong on the with pretty much the same 3 tile gold, but he has 2 other 3 tile golds on his side, so could favor Kong a little bit here should come to the late game. But let's just, since this is hideout, won't be any early action here, so I'm choosing to fast forward a bit here to try and get through as many games as possible this session. So Kong idling a little bit here, their villager counts are even, Kong pushing in here, of course, they're inside his wall, so that's a easy choice there, using the jeep to scout a little bit. Cooper bringing the war as well. Are his deer? Did he already take all of his deer? Or, yeah, he probably did since he's Mongols. So both players at 17 pop here, a little bit idling for Kong. Again, Cooper has 5 his opponent, but I think this is a scouts fight that Kong could... No, Kong loses. So Kong loses his scout here. He's completely blind as to where his opponent is, and he saw Cooper's scout coming from this side, so Kong might suspect that Cooper is on the far side up here or something. Of course, he's gonna get around to scouting that later on. But Kong not succeeding to really bring the villager forward to deal with the scout in time, and it's Cooper winning the scouts fight in the end. So, not untypical to see fast castle plays for hideout. You have some sort of false security with palisade walls here. We have seen tower rushes on this map as well, or Man at Arms towers or qwerty going tower rush, but that looks like it's not the idea. Look at Kong queuing lots of villagers here. Just because why not? You don't want your TC to go idle and you could always cancel them, so it's fine. It's going to gold. I think Kong is going for a pretty early castle age here. Looking forward to see how that plays out for him. Cooper with 1 more pop, that's obviously scout doing work for him. Cooper also going to gold here. And could it be 25 pop up for both, maybe? I think so. I think we have pretty similar uptimes here. Actually, Cooper being first to the feudal age with, yeah, 1 less villager. That is, kind of explains it. So, Cooper, however, could go straight up to castle age right after reaching feudal layer. And that's Kong's plan exactly here. So he's going straight for the 25 up straight castle with qwerty here. Could we be seeing some elephants or from early siege, monk siege push maybe? Many options here. So Cooper has to drop down his building, but then he will be researching the castle age as well. He certainly has the resources for it once the buildings are up. He's actually missing a little bit of food, but he could just force drop and then just get on with it. But the villagers is in queue, and here's the castle age click for Cooper as well, but he's going to be 34% behind. That could be significant in the long run there. qwerty up so early, not needing any buildings for anything here. Kong could just go forward, drop siege workshop without any prerequisite buildings, and but it's going to be the MindudaiLee for Cooper here because he's pretty heavily on stone here. It could be nice for him to be able to go for the defensive castle or even forward, should he choose to. And he could deny quite a lot here if he chooses to go forward, but that of course is more risky than staying at home and then pumping out some Mangudai. So Kong is reaching castle age. What's his plan now? I think he just sent out a few villagers. Maybe he's trying to deal with the scouts. He's dropping a town center. He's going straight for the boom here. Not unusual for Kong to go for 3, 4, 5 TC boom on closed maps like this. Could easily be punished by a castle drop or some Mangudai raiding or whatnot here, but Kong is going for the 3 TCs instantly. Cooper could of course do the same thing. He is floating 470 stone on some wood now, but I think he might be saving up for the castle. We'll see here if he's planning on dropping some TCs as well. He's force drops some gold here. Tasks the villagers over to somewhere else, maybe looking for a TC drop spot, or is he actually dropping a castle? He's just walking aimlessly around here. Seems a bit indecisive, maybe waiting for the gold to... Oh, there it is. It's going to be a defensive castle first here for Cooper. Good choice considering you could always expect some aggression. It looks like Kong is either built a monastery at home, so I think he's just planning on collecting the relics here. Sends a villager kind of forward though, it's a builder. What's he up to? Dropping a house. Yeah, maybe it could be a monk siege push here. Cooper Scout is looking in Kong's area now, looking to see what he's up to. Doesn't follow Jubot91. Nice of you to tune in here. Yeah, so Kong is going for relics, he's going for the boom. He has a significant villager lead already. He has what looked like a 1 TC push from Cooper for now. So the castle and scouting, of course, is boosting Cooper's score here. So don't get deceived by that. 2 monks on the field for Kong. I think he's just harvesting the relics for now. He wants to secure the extra gold. And he's able to do so for now uncontested, so just why not? This monk is for some reason going forward, though. Must have been a misclick by Kong. Yeah, he's going back. And this dude is going... Yeah, I don't know where he's at to. He could actually get a conversion on his Mangudai if he's paying attention here. So, but just passing here, the Mangudai isn't spotted by the monk here. You have to pay a little bit of attention to the count here as well. It's even. It's Cooper producing Mangudai and Kong with the monks, and could also look that Kong already has 1 relic. But Monk could get a nice conversion here, which will neglect Kong from getting the stable up. There is another Mangudai outlaw, so this Monk will surely die here. But Kong's converted Mangudai could challenge this Mangudai going forward here, so just a little bit of a crazy Monk. Indeed. That was a very slow conversion, Kong. I don't believe it. So, forced to garrison here maybe. Loom is in for Kong, of course we saw him researching it not long ago. Cooper is scouting the whole map, so he's getting some real good intel here. Kong is not stressing anything at the moment. And why should he? His Murray can just boom away. He's dropping his 4th TC now, so he's going to have a ridiculous eco lead against Cooper's 1 TC here. It's almost twice the villagers already for Kong. Might get another conversion here, yeah, 2 Mangudai. Qwerty Mangudai, guys, and healing them up and picking up the relics that he wasn't able to bring home. So... Cooper staying on the 1 TC to make sure he has Mangudai production. Kong does have TCs here at home though, so his defense, his TCs work very well against defense from the Mangudai, I would say. Even if Cooper breaks through, Kong could either quick wall or just use the TC's garrison and make sure the Mangudai don't do any significant damage. It's 4+1 for the Mangudai now, missing a lot of upgrades for now. There isn't any archery range or stable for Cooper yet, so he will be missing a lot of upgrades. I don't think he can engage just yet, but Kong uses the Mangudai here to scout. Now he knows where Cooper is. He may have spotted the castle as well, let's see. Yeah, and he knows, of course, there's a castle, and he probably suspects it's on this side since he was here scouting. But military numbers increasing for Cooper, he will have the military lead, of course, since Kong is for the moment mostly booming, but reacting to the Mangudai, putting up 3 archery ranges here already. Missing some food production to sustain skirmish production for now, but floating lots of gold as well, so the options are open for Kong here now. He should be very much ready to defend even outside this base against the Mangudai here now. We see him queuing skirms at least from one range now. Maybe we'll have to consider idling one of the TCs to get more skirm production. Elite skirm is even being researched here and looks like some solid defense from Kong here. So by booming with 4 TCs like this, Kong is buying himself a significant eco lead. He should be able to reach Imperial way before his opponent, and if he's just able to defend, which you can do with skirms, or rather elite skirms, which is in very soon, that's going to put a quick end to Cooper's push here, and if Cooper doesn't pay attention, he might actually lose his Mangudai very quickly here. So Mangudai run into Kong's base, understandably. He wants to get some raids in, wants to punish the boom here, but TCs will get some free shots in on the Mangudai. Didn't lose a single villager there, and in exchange damages the Mangudai, and it's already now 10 military for Kong. Means he has quite a few skirms on the field, and the Mangudai just can't go anywhere without taking damage here from TC fire. Kong has taken a score lead as well. His villager count is off the charts here compared to his opponent, who is staying with the 1 TC push. I can't help but feel like Cooper needs something more than just Mangudai. I mean, if he had been forward with... could be that the eco simply doesn't support it, but if he went forward with maybe some siege as well, I'd say a Mangudai or a Ram or whatnot to take out production to challenge TC fire. Maybe that would help his 1 TC push here, but the eco is limited. Obviously, we're looking at the wood count here going down, and he's keeping constant Mangudai production. Of course, he's going to get his armor numbers up, but he will need something against the elite skirmishers very soon as well. So let's see if there's any... Well, the range is added, meaning more upgrades for the Mangudai there. Could be... It's probably been getting Thumbring there. No university. There's a university as well. Okay, so ballistics may be in already. I'm not sure. If it's not, it will be soon. So he's find a 5th TC from Kong, and Cooper must know by now that Kong doesn't really have a lot of army. And he simply calls the GG, because Kong is only 5 TC boom, and Cooper can't punish it. So Kong wins this game with 2 kills on hideout. So, but Cooper, of course, noticing it's 1 TC against 5. His push isn't barely doing anything for him, unfortunately, and just there's no way he's catching up with 40 villager lead that Kong has here, and skirms on the field already to deal with the Mangudai. So 2 quick Death Division games here, and it ends with 2-0 for Kong. So KD 10-4, nothing significant here. Largest army for Kong, that was mainly skirms. He told after the game he had no chance. Okay, yeah, what's his ranking now? Let's check that. Could be good to know. Yeah, Cooper is 1500 and Kong is in the 1700s now, so that's quite a skill gap. So, yeah, tough matchup for Cooper there, but I can't help but think that he could have considered. He played well, absolutely well. He picked Persians for graveyards, not a bad pick at all, and he was very unfortunate with his map having all 3 ponds with fish far away, so he couldn't utilize the faster and stronger docks by Persians, at least not easily. And on the second game here in Mongols, I think it's a decent pick. You don't see it all too much, but I think Cooper would have needed to punish Kong's boom, way earlier than he did. Yeah, 2 YOLO, exactly. But the uptimes are still decent for Cooper to be only Yeah, 45 seconds behind Kong here being clear. Fast build also makes push so much harder. Yeah, the micro just gets even harder in playing in fast speed. So 3 other birds for Kong even got a bonus gold there, and yeah, wins the game with the army lead, but he didn't really need to use it in the end. So let's have a look here. That's 2-0 for Kong. We'll need to put that in the list here, and we'll move on to another game. I think we'll do an Adept division next, just to mix things up a bit. Yeah, moving on with an Adept division set here. I'm just going to notify the players. So, okay, we've moved down, if you will, to the Adept division here. This is the 1000 to 1400 elo range. And we have qwerty here in the blue, picking Aztecs for graveyards. Always a solid pick if you look at all the relics here. Usually it generates some 9 to 11 relics or some such. Now we have Domachine in the gray here, playing as Magyars. Not a bad pick at all. You could be rewarded a lot for early aggression, and Magyars have a fantastic men-at-arms opening, and Scouts, of course, getting the attack upgrade for free. So he could utilize that to his advantage here. Looks like the pawn distribution is better here for the players. There's one pawn in the back for qwerty here, and there are 3 pawns on closer to Domachine on the side, but this one could be considered kind of in the middle of the two, so could come to see some fighting on the water here. It's never easy to know how far this goes. Note that this Necropolis Grail Cup is going on fast speed, so decisions need to be made quicker here. So I'm going to fast forward a bit again to catch up with some feudal action here. So I would expect to see some kind of infantry opening from Aztecs. They have a nice drush or men-at-arms opening, considering that they start with 50 extra gold. Meaning if you go for a drush or men-at-arms, if you go for a drush you don't need to pick the extra 10 gold to afford loom, or if you go for the men-at-arms you could produce even 4 or 5 men-at-arms and still afford loom. So should be interesting to see what they go for. Domachine already 3 villagers behind there. Is that the fish eco working for qwerty? No, it's not. So it must have been some stress moments here for Domachine with idle time and the fast speed here, and qwerty tackling a little bit better. He's walling off as well, and now dropping the barracks, so it's definitely going to be some kind of infantry opening for Aztecs here. He's not going for the fish for now, but he's walling to this side, so he could be looking at placing a dock here or something. So, Fuelage about to kick in for qwerty. No. And he has the barracks up. I think we'll be seeing some militia in production soon. He's a bit short on food actually, but he is on berries, so we will at least get a few militia out here. Actually goes up without loom here. So he could be going pretty heavily on the infantry line here. He's already walling towards his TC, wants to make sure he doesn't get any aggression towards him. His eagle is already in the Domachine space here, seeing the barracks, knows that something is up. Domachine is up to the fuelage. Let's see what his resource disposition is like. Yes, 4 on berries here. He has brought in both boars. I think sometimes it's really hard to find the boars in time on this map. There's a scout fight on the hill. I believe Domachine might actually lose his scouter, at least if he keeps fighting, but he backs off, he should be okay. But no military in production for Domachine. He could indeed be going for the scouts here, because it's pretty food heavy. So we'll be seeing a stable drop as soon as he reaches food range, which all things considered, it's not that far behind his opponent, but looking at the villager count, this qwerty has just so much healthier eco here. And qwerty, in the end, actually didn't add any militia line units here at all, so he has gone for a straight archers build, must be, and it's even not, he hasn't even taken loom yet, so he could actually start afford producing archers right away if he drops the range. Did he drop a forward building or something? What's going on here? Well, the stable is up for Domachine. I don't see any military buildings for qwerty just yet. But he is prioritizing fish. He wants to build a really strong eco here. Is he going for a greedy fast castle here? Could be. He has 10 on food now. It's 3 fishing ships, a few on the farms, and then of course the berries. But I'm really puzzled to not see any early action here from qwerty. But Domachine seems to be struggling a little bit with keeping up the fast speed here. He's idling some villagers here and there, and then gets the scouts out though, and needs to drop a house soon, otherwise he could risk getting housed while sending while producing both army and villagers, which he's doing. But qwerty is still open. Scouts could do some damage. There's 3 scouts, and remember, Magyars get the attack for free here, so as the player, he has tech loom, so he knows what's up. He's expected the scouts opening. He has spears out already. Spears can be challenged, considering that scouts have the extra attack, but he's better off dodging them. There's a bit of a score difference here. That's the population speaking as well. There's military out for both players. Now, what's the military like for it? Has to be spears then for qwerty here. Protecting with gold mainly here, but the scouts are in. I think they will get the villager kill here, so nice value from Domachine scouts here. Gets at least 1 kill, maybe 2 here. Yep, there we go. He loses 1 scout, but gets 3 villager kills here, so that's huge. Great value from the Magyar scouts here, but now needs to dodge the easy fire. Pulls away. And now as the scouts just attacking a house. Pay attention to the scouts now. You could deny this archer range, just go forward. Stop these villagers from getting their second range up, or delay it at least. I think Domachine, there we go, there is it. So he should micro a little bit here, and then he can hit both builders, nice. Delays the second range of course here. He could even attack the straight archer here, but now he's being chased by a spear. So needs to dodge again. So the second range will go up for qwerty. qwerty doesn't feel threatened right now. I think his gold is outside of his walls though, so that, but of course that's why there are spears here as well. He's even adding a tower. So could he be expecting scouts into archers or even skirms for his opponent? Could be, but there isn't a range for Domachine here, so very cautious to put the preemptive tower. But of course he wants his main goal to be completely safer. The map for qwerty isn't ideal here. He actually has all of his goals forward and far to the side, so he needs to really protect his main goal here. Having a tower, of course, means you could garrison some villagers if the scouts go in as well, so minimizes the chances of damage there. So Domachine scouts going forward again. There is in fact an archery range being dropped by Domachine here, but qwerty closing in on being able to click up the castle edge, something I think Domachine is still far away from. So he sticks around being a little bit annoying with scouts. Could maybe look for a way to break through, just keep being annoying for some quick wolf or something, but the scouts don't really do much at this point. So skirms are out. It's a nice reaction from Domachine. They're actually catching up on score as well. It's now 32 to 37 villagers, but that's 6 fishing ships working for qwerty here. So actually their villager counts are pretty much the same here. Could use the scouts to engage here together with the skirms because the scouts had extra attack here, but chooses to pull back and keep some skirms forward just to harass or scout a little bit here. I think Domachine could engage here. He has 5 scouts, although with no armor. But he should pull, if he pulls his skirms back, this is a fight he could take. I think he's being pulled off by the house here. So saves the villager there, but the house doesn't get completed just now. So some skirms forward just being plain annoying here. And skirms, of course, they counter spears as well, so at this point the skirms they actually counter all of the army that qwerty has. qwerty might need to consider adding some eagles at some point. There is already added an eagle scout as a reaction to the skirmishers here. But there's castle edge in for qwerty. He could hit crossbow, and then suddenly scouts and skirms are not as much of a threat anymore. He's getting double bit ups just now though, so that's pretty late for a straight archers build by qwerty. But he will get it, will boost his eco a little bit, especially his wood income, which is going to be significant here. It's only 12 on wood and 11 on gold. So, but he's adding more to wood as I say that. So now has the crossbows chasing. It's 7 skirms here, some of them are weak, and this is a significant mass of crossbows here, so they should be able to micro a bit and pick off units here. So crossbow's taking the long way around now, looking for an opening. He knows from earlier scouting that this could be open, which is in fact is. Domachine still in the feudal as well, dropping the market now, and he's probably needing that to adjust his economy a bit, because he doesn't really need that market to click up. That could be old habits dying hard as well, that you feel like you need blacksmith market to get up. But I think it's just a means of adjusting the economy or having the ability to. Let's see if he sells some resources here to click to the next stage. Yeah, adjusts a little bit there, and there's the castle edge click. Also sends the skirms up to the hill there, wants to protect the hill now. But it is 8 skirms against 12 crossbows here, and it's feudal age skirms with all the upgrades though. But fighting more or less fully upgraded crossbowmen here, and look at qwerty attacking from both sides here. You could pick off these scouts now. Could harass the wood line, so he's attacking from 2 sides now with spears and crossbows on this side and crossbows on this side as well, and Domachine is just being surrounded now. Tries to build a defensive tower here, but will lose villagers in the process. The tower will actually go up, so that's some commitment there for Domachine, but crossbows could just sit underneath this tower, and stone spent also delays the potential for further town centers for Domachine in the next age. Castle Age closing in for Domachine here. He doesn't have the healthiest eco overall though, and the archers sitting around under this tower. It will go down eventually, and we'll lose a few villagers. I believe the process is down to almost half the villagers now. Look at the fish boom working for qwerty as well. Although running out of fish here very soon, he has bought himself a serious eco advantage here, and his villager count is just so much higher than his opponent at this point. I think it could be GG soon. So some villagers moving out now for qwerty. Is he sending him more to gold? No, there are builders. He's going to the gold in the back there. I didn't see that one, so he actually had 2 golds inside his place. Forward siege now for qwerty is adding the rams. This tower could be going down, and qwerty is just being massively surrounded and idled here. He basically had all of his eco idle now. So that makes it to 1-0 for qwerty here. We'll move on to the next one. Maybe have a little look at the stats first. Could be significant here. qwerty much stronger eco overall, and remember Aztecs very strong civ for graveyards considering the amount of relics and their strength on open maps overall. 34 to 11 KD, largest army, 10 villager leading, and that was mostly fishing ships though, has to be said. There's 6 fishing ships. Eco, there we go. Food count pretty much the same, but then there's the golds and wood, and not to mention the uptimes here making a huge difference. Let's go to game 2. So moving on to game 2 here, we have losers home map. That means Domachine here in the grey gets to pick his home map, which is Necro Arena. So it's basically your standard arena with you know, woodlands, safe woodlands in the back. Your bases, starting base is all walled in. Favors fast castle plays mostly. Very, very nice map for qwerty here though, with back gold here. I hope he scouts it so he knows that he has a patch of gold in the back there. He has some forward gold and stones here, but main gold nicely in the back as well. It's going to be hard to push qwerty with a castle push here, but I don't believe qwerty will suffer to a castle drop against Teutons here. Teutons, nice pick, of course, on the arena. They have a fantastic boom with their cheap farms. So that's way to boost your eco early castle age and get an lead over your opponent. But then again, there's Celts. They harvest wood faster and have fantastic siege late game. So let's just speed this up a bit and see what the players go for. qwerty already taking loom. Actually, I must have been idle there. They might be struggling a little bit finding his resources. He has the sheep in the back there. Did he scout his boars? Yeah, he's bringing the boars now. Okay, nice. So, but actually he didn't select the sheep here yet. I'm sure he's seen them. It just doesn't stress the fact that they should be converted. Now sends the scout in the back there to convert them from Gaia and send them in. So both players off to a nice start here. Same villager count Domachine, slightly in the villager lead actually. But now misclicking a little bit, bringing in the war. That can happen in fast speed, which they are playing on. But qwerty with a significant score lead here now. I believe that could be scouting as well, since our grey player here is mainly stayed in his home base. That's mainly scouting, playing in here, I believe. Going 3 on gold now, suggesting... Yeah, what's his pop going up? Yeah, it's a 24 pop. Could be a 26 pop fast castle then for qwerty, so he will likely be to the castle age before his opponent. Or maybe not, maybe he's committing to some kind of field play here. He has the Lexington market, he is producing a couple of builds, but there's the click, so he's definitely going to castle age before his opponent. We have a scouts fight here as well, but actually lets his grey opponent inside his base now. So he gets to pick off qwerty's scout here, so qwerty will need to make a new one, but he has already scouted mainly what he needs on the map. He knows the location of all the relics, but Domachine at least can get some insights on his opponent's base here. Castle Age in for Domachine as well. Student player going up at 28 pop in the end, so just 1 pop difference, but still the significant Castle Age lead for qwerty. Will he go straight for the boom, or what will he do here? So he's going out with some villagers here. Drops a barracks outside. And dropped a monastery somewhere as well. Yeah, there's the monastery for Domachine. He wants to go for the relics, but there's a barracks out in the field for qwerty. Could be a way, a means of taking map control. I don't quite understand that decision, but here's the TC going up. 2 TCs for qwerty here. Should be 3 TCs for Domachine as well. It's just sticking very close to the TCs here. So should his opponent break in, at least he has the means to garrison villagers easily, and frees up space for farms as well. So village costs are pretty much the same for now. Actually, Domachine is the first one to get the TCs up, as qwerty was rushing military buildings. But has sent some spears out to deal with at least scouts on the field here. Domachine has a monk going now for this relic, but his protecting scout will struggle against the spearman here. And in the initial scout, Domachine goes down to a spear here in his home base as well. So could get a conversion here. Nice little dancing around by Domachine there. He gets the conversion on the spearman, but 2 more spearmen coming in from qwerty. He knows there's something going on over here. So let's see if these spearmen can handle this unit here. Pretty greedy here for Domachine, going for the farthest relics first. He has 1 relic in the back already, so he wants that extra gold. He has 2 scouts now on the field, but there are 2 spears here as well, so needs to pay a bit of attention here. But qwerty goes back to where the relic was, and now realizes that the monk must have gone already. So it looks like Domachine would be able to secure most, if not all, of the relics here, because qwerty isn't really contesting them. He doesn't even have a monastery. He's focusing more on the boom. Looking at Domachine's side though, he's been sending or saving up lots of wood here. He could drop that's of course wood savings from cheaper farms for Teutons as well, but he should be considering spending more resources, and maybe doesn't need as many of gold right now, unless he wants to mass monks, of course. But now dropping another TC is on stone as well, so wants to get a really super boom going here. Spearman railing around now to the next relic here. Wants to challenge, wants to try and prevent Domachine from getting them, but again there's no monastery for qwerty at all, so I don't think he cares all too much about the relics. He's seen the landscape, maybe feels he has the upper hand over his opponent, and he doesn't stress the fact that relics could be a significant thing on Arena. So we see Domachine maybe struggling slightly a little bit with food here. He had 2 idle TCs for one there, now he has 4 TCs producing out of 3 of them. Not the last one for the moment, that's the newest one, so maybe he doesn't start using that just yet. There we go, 4 villagers from 4 TCs, but qwerty has had consistent production from all his TCs all the way. He has 3 TCs, but he has 10 villager lead still. Collecting relics, of course, also calls for a little bit of micro or controlling the units to make sure they bring in stuff. So Domachine scouts now going to just stick around the map. There are some spears in the field. Where is this woman going? So sneaking forward here. So there's the siege workshop. Celts with their mighty siege here. Maybe simply a Mangonel push from qwerty here. Mangonels, knights, ramps. We'll see what he's up to here. So Monk's going for a conversion here, but actually staying inside of the spearman there. That was weird. But Domachine gets his conversion, is in the military lead now with 8 military. And qwerty just drops a forward siege workshop and doesn't do anything more with it for the moment. So Domachine getting a little bit of free army here, is about to secure his relic number 4 here. Also catching up, or at least following the boom of his opponent, but this is producing on 4 TCs and it's 3 TCs for qwerty, but decided his TC number 4 now as well. He seems to have a bit more stabilized eco of Domachine, floating a lot of resources here. Once he invests in enough farms, I'm sure he will be able to click to Imp already. But floating lots of resources here without really using them, I think they could be potentially be put to better use early on. This could, in the resource means here, could be fantastic for a monk siege push, for example. He must have seen that his opponent barely has any presence on the field, so going for a push and punishing their boom could be a play here. But getting heavy plow now and also wheelbarrow. So it's going to be Imperial Age first for his opponent here, with a more divided eco setup here. So qwerty is going to be first to the Imperial Age, could go straight for the siege pusher. He's already preparing battering ramps. Maybe he simply wants to break in through with mostly siege here. Teuton monks, do they get redemption? Let's have a look here, because that could be a nice defense against siege here. I want to look at the tech tree while they are researching the ages here. So Teuton's full monk tech tree should be decent for defending against a siege push from the Celts player. At the moment, Domachine is idling all of his army. Well, there's a monk here and there on the field, but I don't think he's scouted the siege workshop at all. Yeah, he's seen the foundation, so he knows that his opponent might be up to something here. Both players now up to the Imperial Age. Village count, it's been catching up for Domachine here. He's had the consistent 3 villagers producing consistently from 4 TCs and now researching Impel one of them. So they are pretty even now in eco here. But here are pikes coming out for qwerty here. Looks like it's going to be a pike ram push here. But Domachine reacting to the siege workshop, building up a defensive castle here, so it will be a bit tougher for Celts player to break in. Lots of barracks on the field now. Certainly wants to go for the infantry held line. Maybe he's suspecting knights from his opponent here. There's only one stable from Domachine for the moment though. Defensive castle up. He's up defensive siege workshop from Domachine as well, so he's reacting nicely to what he thinks is coming here. Cap ram is in for the Celts player. I think he just wants to break straight through and try to make some damage here. He should be closing in on being able to drop a forward castle as well. Does he have miners on stone? Yes, he does. So once he gets the castle up, he could trap down his opponent's castle. And what's Domachine up to here? He's getting ironclad. So he's getting extra armor for his siege weapons here actually. But the capped rams of the Celts player here is breaking easily into the walls here. It's going to be a slow pike and siege push here. I'm so bad. Yeah, I don't know about that. I think you reacted nicely to what your opponent was doing here, but could be that the skill gap was just a bit too huge between you two. So here's the ramp push, a bit low military count for Domachine here down now. So what does it do from here? It's added the defensive siege. So MindudaiLee could get some nice hits in on both ramps and halves here, but military count is worrying here. It's actually adding Teutonic Knights here now. I think that's nice. They can handle the halves easily. Look at this. Dealing lots of damage to the half here and almost taking none himself. They should be able to take out the siege as well. I should win 100% for this point. Yeah, maybe you should. You had a... Yeah, you both were floating lots of resources here. And you had the 5 relics, but... it's like when you don't have any army and booming at home like this, then what do you do against the push, right? So... Teutonic Knights are doing work here though. They're dealing with ramps for now, but there will be more army of course coming forward for qwerty. Since he's investing into trash units like halves here as well, he should be floating lots of gold here, so he could afford more siege, more maybe champion's line or something here. Ramp push was so strange. Yeah, maybe what no, not what you'd expect from Celts. But it is playing to their strengths though, than playing ramps with or siege overall with Celts. But is there any castle at all for the Celts player here? He's placing it at home, so he's going to be producing troops from home then. Domachine has dealt with a few helps that were roaming around and harassing his eco here, but there are more siege workshops coming up for qwerty here, and look at his eco. He has so much resources floating and he doesn't really use them, so that's puzzling to me. Conscription going in for Domachine now. Let's have a look at his eco. Not any stone to support another castle, adding some barracks. Maybe wants to add some melee units from the barracks as well to deal with his opponent's push here. Both they just getting lots of orchids. So qwerty is going for supplies here, so he seems to want to be going for the... Yeah, there's Heavy Scorp. You're right. Well, Heavy Scorpion is a nice reaction to Domachine going for infantry units, though. Teutonic Knights even would take damage from Heavy Scorpions, I believe. And so many barracks for the Celts player here now, and he has the means to produce infantry for a long while here. He's going main, still going mainly. What's he doing? He's going Heavy Scorpion, yeah. So Heavy Scorpion on the field. Needs to address this trap as well, though the trap is totally unprotected. But military number is pretty much the same here, but with Scorps firing behind, the infantry of Domachine will go down quicker here. Teutonic Knights are of course doing work against the Halberdiers here. And now an Onager on the field, trying to get a hit in on the Scorpions, I believe. Nice hit there, and he weakens the Scorpions a lot. Unfortunately, it doesn't take out any, maybe with the next hit. Really unlucky there, not getting out any Heavy Scorpions there. So now qwerty, if he has the micro to do it, he could repair this one. Zero micro incoming. Okay, so just spamming units out on 2 castles now for Domachine though. But he's producing nearly as much as enemy here. Supplies coming in for Domachine as well, and the Mentar's Tech wants to do a switch here, but that's going to take a good while. And what's the eco situation like? He's floating less food and gold here, could sell wood to get more gold in quickly, but let's see then. Onager is here, getting one hit, maybe on that, no. qwerty actually dodges here again. So he's sticking to helps the siege push here. Where are qwerty's trebs? They aren't queued. I think he's queued 3 trebs right now. So military count not too indifferent here, but there's 59 military mostly helps for qwerty here, and then there are some onagers and 20 knights and helps for his opponent. So this is some villagers down here, maybe looking to take some of the neutral resources. Not a bad move considering it's an under siege home and needs gold and other resources to support it. Looks like some nice onager hits here, weakens a lot of helps here. Get some nice onager shots in here. This bomber cannon is history, unfortunately. He will die to helps, but fantastic hit on the helps here in this drop point. Look at the onagers doing work here on the halberdiers here. So nice kills. KD is in Domachine's favor now, but I'm not too sure if the eco is looking at not Gaia, but qwerty is floating more food and gold. Getting slightly spending wood of course on everything here, but now taking even into stable techs here, so he wants to go maybe for some light gap raids or whatnot. Needs something to deal with this opponent's siege that actually has some extra armor, as you can see here, 0, 4, 7. Only 7 here for Kelt's player. But qwerty adding even more production buildings, so we can spam infantry units endlessly here in towards the siege. 3 trebs on the field, they're ready to deal with the castles here. I don't think Domachine will ever be able to get to the trebs with all the army protecting behind, but we'll see. qwerty is pop capped. Domachine is close to being pop capped as well, and the military counts are the same, but would say still slightly stronger military for qwerty here. Brings the bomber gun forward, wants to snipe some on the siege here, but qwerty dodges away and saves his treb. Takes 1 hit on the halberdier there, even being in movement. Domachine's helps or melee units in general have extra armor, so they are stronger overall than Teuton helps here. Maybe not a bad move to go for the mirrored play here, but look at qwerty's production. He's just gonna spam and spam and spam, and now loses 2 onagers here in 1 shot from qwerty's siege onager. So qwerty has even teched into siege onager here, doesn't care too much about his own helps, just getting shots in, gets another onager from Domachine here. Cleans up, looks at even more siege onagers coming in here, getting real nice shots in and cleaning up the Teuton army here. Now some Teutonic knights coming forward. They're really slow though, but if they can get close enough, they should be able to deal with the siege onagers here. Trebs for Domachine as well, but nothing to protect them, so that's could be really bad news here. The Teutonic knights going down to Scorp and onager fire here, and the military count is down to 14 for Domachine again here, so it's 57 to 14 right now, and qwerty will continue his push. Now with the 4 trebs taking out the castles, and it's looking grim for Domachine at this point. So both players actually floating lots of resources, so it's not the end of things at all, but losing defensive structures like castle, that's a huge thing on a map like Arena. You need to protect your economy to keep sustained production. So at this point it's only helps and siege for qwerty. He's not adding more siege even, it's just adding helps, and he's pop capped or about to be, so just keep adding, and only thing he needs to do is do the slow push and deal with his opponent's units coming in. Another siege onager goes down for Domachine. They both had siege onager, but now a monk is on the field doing some work as well. I can't even see where that is at this point. So qwerty very much focused on the forward. I would love to see him send some raids down to the neutral resources, or at least scan it or check if there's something going on there. Looks like Domachine will lose his second cast now. He tries repairs, but that's just too few villagers against 3 trebs here. Note that qwerty even has a repair build next to his trebs to repair the trebs as they get any potential damage. Military count 82 to 25 now. So still lots of resources in the bank, but losing to castle is pop capped here, the machine, and is down to 133 pop against almost pop capped enemy. Gets a nice shot in here though, it's nice siege on your shots, but will now lose it, I believe. So qwerty keeping massive military numbers here now. Now goes for the siege ram tech, so he wants to send siege rams in to end this game and take out the rest of the production buildings from his opponent. Scores not too dissimilar though, but here's the forward castle being added by qwerty. So actually barely any production at all. Yeah, thank you for turning. Thanks for playing. You did make it to the second round, so that's good work there, no matter how you see it. And of course, also playing at fast speed is could put any player off who isn't used to that kind of settings. So it's like you have to react even more quickly with everything. 4 town center now for qwerty. He wants to get control of this gold. So siege onlookers getting some hits in on the siege rams here, but Domachine is now only delaying the inevitable here. He's getting pushed, and qwerty's helps are only patrolling there. Maybe he's waiting for the castle to go down. I guess. Where are his trebs? Did they get taken out? Maybe they did. But more siege rams are coming in. Now using a siege on this side as well, trying to make some more openings to get in. We'll lose some siege rams to halves here, and look at both players still producing heavily here, but military count still very worrying for Domachine here, and although he's fighting valiantly here, it's not going to be enough. At this point, qwerty doesn't even care too much about his own units, he's just sending siege onlooker shots into whatever is here, and it looks like he's going to try and target the trebs here with siege onlooker shots. That's exactly what he's doing, and he's almost killing one treb in one shot, sending in some siege rams as well, and once this castle goes down, then it's just free meat for the inwards in the village. Trebs go down, but the machine is still producing quite a lot here, has production mainly at home, and it just has too few production buildings to deal with it here, and now loses the relics as well, so no extra gold there. KD pretty similar though, that has to be said, says something about the defense of our great player here, that he's managed to get some good shots in, taking out, keeping almost the same military numbers at some points, but now he's losing his main base. And the GG is called, so we get to 2-0 for qwerty here. So let's look at the stats here. Score high, of course, for qwerty in the end. He has the most raised buildings by far, but KD not to the Frontier largest army playing in as well, constant army production from qwerty more or less, never let go with push while it was underway, and more resources brought in overall since he was never really threatened at home. Uptime's not too dissimilar either. The Celts player he did get the quicker cast stage with a few less pop going up to feudal, and Domachine with 5 relics total. Got lots of extra relic gold here, but wasn't enough in the end to bring the game home. So I'm going to do one more set and then I'll sign off for today. Well guys, we're back in the Death division. We have Piezod in the blue here playing as Japanese versus MindudaiLee in the red playing as Aztecs. I'd say although Aztecs with the extra gold they can gain from their relics, always a solid pick here, they would meet a great challenge from Japanese here with cheaper mills and lumber camps and stuff, and also very tanky fishing ships. And look at this huge pond in the middle of the two players here. Closer to MindudaiLee, obviously, but I think we might see some water being challenged here with this huge pond once the players notice it. And then being Japanese is going to be a huge advantage because their fishing ships, they can just handle so much more damage. So better graveyard generation pond wise for this game. It's of course closest to MindudaiLee here, but in exchange Piezod has back gold, kind of safe stone here as well, and 2 back golds. Actually this one should be really easily secure both golds here. It's just one piece of wall there and it's fine. So it seems to have found a sheep at least. Did he find both the boars? He's missing boar number 2, but he's in the area here, so I think he will be okay. MindudaiLee on his side is scouting as well, using his eagle scout wise there is found boar. Is he missing his second board as well? Yeah, it's not within his line of sight here. I think he's found both because this one just went into the shroud here. So let's see if these players go for the aggressive approach or if they stick around and fight for water control or just go for the typical infantry opening for both players. Both sims here, strong infantry Aztecs could get more men-at-arms out more easily, considering they are not... they start with 50 extra gold. I mean, MindudaiLee kind of unlucky here, but he sees that there is one sheep in the Shroud of War here, so he should be okay. Hi, Myth. Ah, yeah, so getting the sheep pretty late here for MindudaiLee, but looks like doesn't be too bad. Idle Timer is one villager behind his opponent, and that's not a huge deal overall at this stage of the game. So I'm just doing a little bit of fast forwarding here, so we'll see the field action. Still hasn't found the second war, and there we go. He goes for the second war, and he's fine. So this could impact the Aztec player's field age time a little bit here. It's see fishing ships already for Piezod here. It's 3 fish out, and let's see, his villager count's probably 19 then, 20 right now. So the fish are going to do wonders for the Japanese player here, but I think MindudaiLee may have scouted the fact that his opponent is on water, so he knows that's something he may need to challenge. So Fuel Age is in for Piezod. This is the first one to go up here, but I believe MindudaiLee will be following shortly after force dropping some food here. Is just going to click up. There it is. So just 15% difference. Barracks is out for MindudaiLee. Looks like Piezod wants to play more in the style of a fast castle-ish play here. No military buildings as of yet for Piezod. He could get punched for that now by MindudaiLee with his queuing some militia now, but Piezod now going to drop a mill. Okay. Village is coming in for Piezod first. Still no military buildings for him other than water, of course, but I think he is scouting the shoreline here. He notices that his Aztec opponent isn't on water at all for now. MindudaiLee is sending a villager now. Is that for a dock, or does he want to do a man-at-arms towers play here with only one villager to build a power? He's also scouted Piezod going forward with one villager as well. Piezod may be aiming for this pond. But Man-at-Arms indeed coming in from MindudaiLee here. He chills out a bit waiting for Man-at-Arms to kick in, but now he goes for the berries. And is going very aggressively here. He's going to drop a forward archery range here. And Piezod doesn't even have a barracks yet, so he's on the back foot here now, definitely. So, stressing at the barracks, I think he has the eco to support military buildings and production. He has a few on gold, but this forward archery range are very aggressive by MindudaiLee here, and you should know that there's a limit to how much damage he can do to his opponent now due to the walls here in towards the TC and the fact that Piezod has a significant fish eco working for him as well. But the Aztec is forward. He's queuing archers, and he's taking his opponent effectively off berries here, but that's not going to make any significant difference for Piezod here because he has food income on water. Of course, always nice idling your enemy, but it doesn't really make a huge difference here for Piezod, considering he could just relocate his villagers to other resources. He's going to need wood after all. Let's look at his eco right now. It seems a bit healthier already. He has a 6 villager lead, but I think those are fishing ships. 5 fishing ships, so he has one villager lead. Man-at-Arms trying to break through here. With one archer in place, he might be able to get in actually. So nice awareness from Piezod there to wall further behind instead, because he knows he's not going to deny these and Man-at-Arms an entry here. So very efficient quick walling here. Could have sent in the scout maybe to block these foundation and make it a bit tougher, but still some harassment. Puts a tower on this woodland, forcing Piezod to move over to the other side here. But MindudaiLee needs to punish the fish boom on Piezod as well. Easier said than done with Japanese, obviously. 2 ranges now out for a Japanese player. He's queuing fletching right now, so he's collecting fletching before he's getting barely any military at all here. And of course has relocated his wood builders to this area, now dropping a defensive tower to deal with the men-at-arms forward and potential archers moving in here. Let's see a bit of a micro battle here, but fletching it's in for Piezod, so we could easily take an engagement here and win against MindudaiLee. Now 4 archers out against 2 on this side. And MindudaiLee sends his scout back home. He's actually being chased by a galley here, so he takes some shots along the way. So nice cleanup for Piezod here. He's taking out the archers on this side of MindudaiLee. Well, the arms still alive for MindudaiLee, but they didn't really do much, did they? They did take Piezod off bears, but it didn't make a huge difference considering Piezod is fishing here and getting nice food eco from there as well. And he's farming as well, so and this didn't really set him back a lot, I believe. But both players committing to feudal HP. Piezod now adding men-at-arms of his own. He might want to use them to clean up these forward. MindudaiLee here, MindudaiLee still no fletching. So once the men-at-arms gets close, it can challenge them easily here. But MindudaiLee also doing a decent job cleaning up the small armies of Piezod here. But Piezod is now forward. Nice reaction from MindudaiLee here to immediately move off his woodline here. Doing some walls to prevent forwarding of Piezod as well, while distracting on the other side. So both players forced to react at aggression at home and also to do their forwarding correctly here. But nice bit of harassment here for Piezod. There shouldn't be an issue for him to walk past here either. I think it's just outside of TC range if he passes next to the middle here. But these archers are just camping on the stone for now, while he devotes his attention to other things. Actually uses villagers here to pick off this skirmisher, but why not? Still no dock for MindudaiLee here, so he's falling behind in score. He's significantly behind in the villager count here, but that's also 6 fishing ships, means it's an 8 villager lead for Piezod. So in the midst of all this defending from Piezod is held on real nicely and sustained the lead all the way here. Aztec Eco doing wonders for MindudaiLee though. He's not that far from being able to reach Castle Age either, but he's losing villagers here. Could have pulled this home a long time ago, but in the end there is looks like a restore here. Okay, so I think these guys were forced to restore the game, so I'll see if I can find that file. So I'm just looking a bit in the Okay, so I don't see anything in the reported games here that they added a recording of the restore, so I have to assume then that this was 1-0 for Piezod. And we'll move on to the next game. Guys, moving on to game 2. This is MindudaiLee's home map, and it's moats. So MindudaiLee here playing blue as the Mongols, Piezod playing yellow as the Goths. So this is a version called Necropolis moats. It's an updated version that makes sure that you have some resources. Boars always spawn inside of your starting, what should we say, peninsula. So if you're playing choosing moats as a home map, make sure you use Necro-ES moats here. So Mongols should be able to contest Goths early on, considering Mongols can go up early, but look at Piezod here already going forward. Scouting a little bit, I'm sure he actually needs to try and wall in his opponent here, but MindudaiLee's scout is on point. Let's see if they clash into each other here. They don't fight. MindudaiLee gets the first hit. Oh, he takes the first hit. Piezod chases away. Piezod was just going straight for the woodland. He's not walling out his opponent. Gets a sheep there though, but MindudaiLee recovers it. So won't be any sheep blaming here. MindudaiLee backs off as well, wants to secure his sheep. So I bet Goths could be really strong on this map because you don't have any wood, barely have any wood at home at all. There are a few stragglers here and there, so you have to migrate to the middle to get to the woodlines. So with Goths, you could go men-at-arms and towers, you could afford quite a few men-at-arms and at the same time do towers and make expansion really tough for your opponent. So, but you see both players going very early to the woodlines here. Goths having the advantage that they have the free loom, so not as much of a risk for Goths as it is for Mongols now not having loom. But of course you're not taking any engagements before you have the army to do so. Actually, Piezod's sheep are bugged here. So this could be cause for a restart for him if he doesn't find the sheep, but I don't think he really matters too much about it. He didn't really scout this whole home area as well, so I don't think he's too stressed out about the sheep. Scout could easily harass the unloomed villagers out here, so a bit of a risk for the Mongols player to send the villagers out unloomed here. Especially against Goths. If it comes to a villager fight, the Goth villagers would win a fight here, actually. If you want to play it unconventional, but these players both seem to be playing it somewhat safe now to begin with. So let's fast forward a little bit again and see if we can see some feudal action coming up soon. Barracks is out for Piezod. He is at 15 or 16 pop at the moment. Looks like a rush here should be very successful. I think MindudaiLee is either expecting it or is just preemptively walling to make sure his choppers is it. Well, he sees the barracks now, so he will likely be walling in these two guys as well. Loom is in for the Mongols player, doesn't want to take any chances here, but the militia is out as well. MindudaiLee risks losing his scout here, but the militia is going straight to the woodland here. But nice quick walls from MindudaiLee, keeping the Goths rush out of his woodland here. Will still be annoying for sure, but he has a nice woodland working for him here, so this rush shouldn't be doing too much. But now a villager going forward for Piezod, so he wants to stop the expansion of his opponent here. This is the shittiness of moats right here, that you have only one escape. You can't dock these waters, it's too narrow for that to happen. And look at Piezod now effectively suspending his Mongol opponent inside his home base here. There's some hunt to be taken for the Mongols player here though, so he could now actually use this opportunity to know that his opponent has invested in feudal army. He's invested a lot. He's going to be far away from the castle age compared to himself. MindudaiLee not floating too much. He's not on gold yet, but if he takes this hunt, his fast castle should be within reach for him. As long as he gets the wood for the buildings to click up, and he's reacted by chopping a few stragglers here. So he has some wood income at home until he runs out of these stragglers that have 100 wood each. So this is like 600 wood on his home field here. He's using villagers to try and break out here. Maybe he makes it in time, maybe. No, house wall is just in time for Piezod here. and is playing this map as annoying as it can be played here by walling out his opponent early on in the game, and at the same time doing the full Goths madness drush here. Oh boy. Strong play from Piezod, it has to be said, is playing the map as it could be done. Taking map control early on with the Goths militia, and is even producing more. He's just committing to Dark Age here. He's not really in a hurry to get up here. It's just knows he's delaying his opponent significantly here by walling him out. There's no expansion to the woodlands. Once his opponent runs out of wood on his home field here, he's screwed unless he can break out. But here's the tower from MindudaiLee. That's going to make walling behind a lot harder for Piezod. He's commencing some walls here, but he will risk losing a villager or two here. And MindudaiLee commits quite a few villagers here to break out. Good call from MindudaiLee to get to the feudal age, exploit, take advantage by getting a tower up, but at the same time is forced to waste a lot of wood here, fighting against 8 militia now on the woodline here. So Piezod memeing it a bit here with Goths going full Dark Age militia. He's nowhere near clicking up to the next stage even. So, eventful game. If MindudaiLee fails to pay attention here, he will actually risk losing his woodchopping villager too, so this is just vital to keep him here. Forced to do some repairs here. Piezod now gets housed due to his military expansion, and is going the long way around. Is actually long distance hunting the wars here, so once he collects these 2 wars, he should be closer to clicking up to the next stage. And then what does MindudaiLee do? He's towering his opponent's woodline now. That does not stop Piezod from just expanding to further on to this side though. He's probably going to react not by counter towering, because he can't, he's in the Dark Age, but by moving his economy. But look at this guy, he's going in through the walls here, using his villagers and his militia to try and battle this tower down. Piezod just really doesn't want his Mongol counterpart here to be able to expand, and MindudaiLee just commits his whole friggin' economy here to fight against militia here, and maybe repair this tower a little bit, stop it from going down. But Piezod is just playing powerfully here, using Goths for as annoying as can be. MindudaiLee drops a tower now on this for gold here. Maybe a means to stop villagers or militia from going in his direction, but now he is placing his own palisades, placing a new tower. So another attempt to escape here from MindudaiLee. He's going to get this tower up and then battle down this one. Piezod now finally getting close to clicking up here, but he's committing to even more villagers. It's this kind of Huang style playing here with mass militia, with Goths. He's picking off villagers from his opponent here. Look at the villager count, it's 28 to 90. Imagine if he is just staying in Dark Age here and producing behind, sustaining his food eco, not getting housed all that much. Saving his woodline. I think he battled down this tower foundation from MindudaiLee and distracting him. It's just such a power play from Piezod. They're showing that even in Dark Age you could pose some serious resistance for your opponents. But here's a stable now from MindudaiLee. He wants to go for some scouts, maybe get some raids in on his opponent, but he is really struggling with food at this point. He has no farms, but he has the hunt. I really hope he scouted that. He scouted it, but he taps out and calls the GG, and that's it. Piezod wins the game with 2% Dark Feudal Age being researched at the 15-27 minute mark. What a performance. Such annoying play with Goths here, just as Goths can be. So military score obviously higher for Piezod. He had loads of militia there. He had 9 militia in the end, or maybe that's his starting to be. And eco, only food and gold and wood, pretty much the same for both players here. But MindudaiLee just never making it past 25 villager high and losing villagers in the process. He actually ends the game at 20 villagers in the next age. But look at his eco, it's just nothing to produce from. He was also close to running out of wood for repairs here, so maybe the militia would have broken in there and he would be stuck at home here. Yeah, that's moats for you guys. You could be blocked out so easily. maybe the biggest downside of this match and map, but also invites some kind of really aggressive gameplay like we just saw here. Might not be the last we see of this kind of playing on this excuse me, shit map. Thanks, Tris. Yeah, the bad luck speed, the bad luck with fast speed. Oh yeah, versus DM player. There you go. Yeah, DM players certainly have a huge advantage in these games. But I like the team building story, and the fact that it's fast speed is simply to the idea is to make it even more unsettling overall. And I think it works. Look at this timeline. There's no fuel age for Piezod. It was only 2% to the fuel age as the game ended. But anyway, guys, I'm going to have to call it here because I'm going to do some AoE Olympics practice with the Norway team. But thanks for watching, and I'll most certainly be back with more in the time to come.